Today, we can't believe we're actually in London. This is sort of marshland, and it's a wetland centre over in London. Now, it's right on the bank of the Thames near Putney Bridge. So you could say it's all right, it's on the outskirts of central London, but you know what? It's still London. The underground runs here, the buses run here, and this is the London Wetland Centre. So the London Wetland Centre is a 105-acre site, which was originally man-made, and it was built as one of the 21st century's first great urban conservation projects, and it was the last vision of Sir Peter Scott. It really is an incredible place to come, with the wildlife that is around, and we're going to show you lots of that as we go through, but also all of the different lakes and the different areas of water and the different parts that you can go as well. But what makes it really fantastic is the further you walk away from the main building, the more away from the world you feel, which is quite incredible considering that the planes are flying overhead into Heathrow about every 30 seconds, and we'll show you that later. Now you'll see places like this around the wetlands where they've constructed a wooden walkway which is like a pontoon which goes out over the water, and the brilliant thing about it is the animals, the birds, etc. are all going backwards and forwards underneath, so you really do get quite close. And as you can just about see over there, you've got a moorhen chick, but you're also going to see loads of other chicks as well when we look over the other side in just a second. It is really easy to miss these, so my recommendation would be you can get a little guide from the front desk when you actually buy your ticket. It's £3.50, that's got a map in there, and make sure you use that map to get to all of the best places that we're showing you on this video around the Wetland Centre. The thing I love about the Wetland Centre is you can see so many different things just by walking the different parts, but also there's these hidden treats, and these are called hides. So these are open, you just come on in, you open the door and come in, and then you can grab a seat and look out through the windows across the lakes. Now in some of them they've even got binoculars or even telescopes set up so you can see across the water, and in this one we've just gone past, which is the Headley Hide, and we'll come back to in just one second, they'll even point out some of the things that you can see on the water, some of the different birds as well. And how about this? If you just look around, can you see in the back there the two moorhen chicks? Yes, little black fluffy chicks. So the view we're getting here is of across the main lake, and what we're looking at from is the Headley Discovery Hide. So that's that little building that I showed you before, and this is through one of the windows that open, so you really don't then have a pane of glass in the way. And also one of the things I would really recommend is taking a pair of binoculars with you, because with that you'll get even more that you can see. Now if you haven't got a pair of binoculars or you forget them, you can hire them at the centre when you get there, so just ask the staff when you get your ticket, because it is so worthwhile. You get to see so much more, and it also helps to keep children really engaged as well. Now for me, I've just got a cheap old pair of binoculars that I've had for many years, really small ones, so you don't need anything fancy either. If you're looking at that octagonal building there and thinking, what's that? That's another hide called the Peacock Tower, and we'll be going there a bit later. But because it's 2 stories high, it really gives you tremendous views across the whole site. The building on the left is a hospital and the other one is a tower block of flats, but it's a great reminder of how close you are to central London, yet you have all of this wilderness right in front of you. Okay, this is inside the hide, and all of these windows unlatch and then they secure up so you can look out without having any problem, without having any glass in the way, which is fantastic. As you can see, they've got chairs set up, and also in each of the hides there are loads and loads of books, so if you see a bird you don't recognise, you can look it up in the book as well. But also in this one they had a fantastic volunteer who was showing people different birds that she'd found out on the different parts of the lake, so you could really take it in and get excited about it. By the way, I'm not a bird watcher or an ornithologist, but I just love this sort of thing. Now this is called Wildside, and it's that for a reason, because behind this gate they keep everything enclosed, and everything that is off behind these gates, it really does expand out into the wetlands. But you get so much different wildlife out here as well. Now, it is so easy to get around, and also you never know quite what you're going to see. When I was here, unfortunately the camera doesn't pick it up, but there were hundreds of little dragonflies all flying around on top of the water and also over the open meadows as well. It's incredible to think back that in the 1980s, the area that we're in at the moment used to be 4 redundant reservoirs, which is where the Wetland Centre is now. And thanks to an innovative partnership between the WWT, the Thames Water and also Berkeley Homes, planning permission was given in 1995 to turn the whole area into a wetlands. As you can see with the paths and that, it's easy to get around. But if you've got really, really small children, you want to keep a very, very close eye because the water is never that far away. But if you've got slightly older children, they'll love the running around and the freedom that they get from coming here to the Wetland Centre. How picturesque is that? So once the planning permission was given, they recycled all the soil that was on site. The reservoir materials were reused to build paths and the car park and also a fish reef. They planted more than 300,000 water plants and 27,000 trees, and they brought in reptiles from brownfield sites in Kent that were destined for development, and they were rescued and brought here to the London Wetland Centre. So if you're coming down here, they ask you to do a few things just to keep the wildlife in check. So one is keep to the paths, stay off all the banks, keep the noise down, keep the site smoke free, and also many of the birds have got special diets, so whatever you do, don't feed them. Even if you think you're helping them, they've got their own bird food that the Wetland Centre gives to them, which we showed you earlier when we walked one of the wooden verandas. It's not until you're right above one of the lakes or one of the bodies of water on the pontoon or a bridge that you look down and see the clarity of the water, and you can see right to the bottom as it's picked up with the camera here, which is quite incredible. So you can see all the wildlife that's down within the reeds and within the plants as well underwater. Here we're looking across the Reservoir Lagoon, and whilst there's wild birds and other bits and pieces that you can look at, some beautiful plants, what I couldn't believe my eyes and myself and other people that were in this hide, which is the Wildside hide, we actually found what we think was a terrapin. Yeah, the shell you could see, it was right up by the surface and it was swimming. We couldn't actually believe it. And with a pair of small binoculars that I was talking about earlier, which I own, I was able to really see the clear markings on the shell. So you never know quite what you're going to find. Or speaking of which, you might see some more bigger wildlife later. Also, these hides are a brilliant excuse to get away from the horrible British weather of the summer if you're doing this during then. Yeah, because you never know when it's going to start tipping it down. Right, here's some birds having a fun time, having a good old bath and just getting to socially know one another here. So during this video, you'll have heard the dull roar of these flying into Heathrow. Yes, it's right under the flight path into Heathrow, and it's so close to Heathrow that this is where the wheels come out. So if you are flying into Heathrow Airport as you come into London, this is certainly something you want to keep an eye out from the window, because you'll see the Wetlands Trust by the River Thames just before you land at Heathrow if your plane is flying over London and into Heathrow. How about that for a tip? Sorry I can't be with you to hand you the binoculars. The information that they have out and about when you're looking around is fantastic, so you don't really need to worry about trying to find out what different types of birds things are. These are magpie geese, and as you can tell, for an obvious reason, if you know your magpies. But here in this enclosure, stealing the show has to be these two. It's two otters, and here we are, just appearing from the back there, and they feed them twice a day, which they tell you when you come in, so actually if you want to come and see otter feeding time, you can do. And it's all part of the ticket, so it's nothing extra included within there. And there you go, you can see them going into their home, and then you're going to see them come back out again. But how about that? Did you notice the heron just sitting there underneath the tree? And that's the great thing about this place. You never know what you're going to find where. This is definitely just one of these areas that you could stay for hours just to watch these two in action. Okay, sorry, but we've got to leave them at some time to their own devices, give them a bit of privacy. Okay, so over here we're in the Sustainable Gardens section, which is also right round by the main courtyard and observatory where you come in. So it's not that far away, but as you can see, you've got another great wooden veranda to walk around, and the Tudor-looking building in front of you is the Wetland Living Building. When you get and you arrive here at the main building, there are two different routes out. There's the west route, which we've already shown you, and there's the south route. This is easy to miss because you almost have to go through another building to get to it. Whatever you do, don't miss it. This area is an absolute must, and we'll show you more. If you're coming here and you're thinking about accessibility, don't worry, they've got it completely covered. Everything is flat, and where there was ups and downs, they've got ramps in place. And one of the things I'm really interested was the Peacock Tower. Now, that's got 2 floors to it, so you can see right across the wetlands. And the brilliant thing is, they've got a lift in there, so you can get in the lift, get up and go and have a good look round, and you can even go to the first floor as well and have a look round. So everything is really accessible, whether you've got a pushchair, you're in a scooter, or you're in a wheelchair. Everything is really flexible, so it's a great place to come to everyone. Now, if you're doing this and you've got children with you in the south route, this is called Wildwalk, and as part of that you've got all different sort of obstacles and things you can walk down. This was my absolute favourite. This rope bridge, yes, as you can see, swings and moves around as you walk through, and then as you get at the centre, you see those boards are wet. There's a reason for that. As you get there, it sort of sinks down to the water's edge, so you don't get soaked, but it literally just comes up to the boards. Great fun. So this section is definitely one to keep the kids entertained and adults alike as well. But also around here, you've also got the Explore Playground, which is very close. So once again, you've got a place where children can really let off steam and have fun in a playground. Also, a big well done to the Wetlands Trust, because not only is this accessible for children and adults, but also if you've got buggies, you're in a chair or anything else like that, and you can get up and down here, they've even put ramps to make it accessible to everyone. So the building we're coming to right in front of us is the Peacock Tower. Now this is the hide that you really want to get to. It's worth making the effort to get out here because it's probably one of the furthest parts to walk to of the whole site from the entrance. But as you can see, there's clear paths to get to it, which makes it really easy. But once you get here, you can go up 2 floors and you get amazing sights across the whole of the wetland centre. And as I said earlier, accessibility is brilliant because you can either go up the stairs or alternatively, if you need to, you can use the lift, which will take you straight up to the 2nd floor. So from up here, you really have got 360-degree views. And here we're looking back at the main building at which we walked in, and that glass building that you see there, we'll look out of that later, looking back towards the Peacock Tower. See, the whole thing hasn't just been thrown together. It's incredible. But then as you walk around the inside, you can go to different parts of it. And as you can see, when I came up here, it really is one of these places that many people haven't found. So I'm letting you know so you can find it, because it is just a fantastic oasis in central London. And if you're thinking, what are those blobs there? We'll come back to them in just a second, but as you go sweeping round, not only have you got the reservoir lagoon, but you've also got the wader scrape behind as well. So those animals that you can quite clearly see now are a herd of cows. I'm not sure where they've come from. There must be a local farm where they just let them sort of roam on here to keep the grass and keep the levels of plants down, but they certainly seem like they're having a great time in the water. So, great thing is, let's get up, go and have a look round at a different part of the whole site from here in the Peacock Tower. And out of this window, you've got the wader scrape behind. And then the low building that you can see just hidden in the trees there is another hide. That is the Waders Scrape hide. And then the building you can see just above the tree line in the middle there, that's Fulham Football Club. So we're right close to the Thames. And then, as we come back to the main lake, you can see the WWF hide and also the Dulverton hide as well, which is just a little bit further out. So there's plenty of places that you can come, and as you can see, the benches are very, very comfy to sit on, so you can sit here for hours. Sometimes in these places there's nothing better than kicking back. Now again, if you miss the path, this is easy to miss, and this is the sand martins nesting boxes. Now, you can't actually physically see the sand martins, but if you come into this bunker which they've set up, it's been brilliantly done. So here on the screen, you've got a camera inside one of the nests, and we'll come back to that in just a second. But you can also hear the sounds of the birds coming in and out and talking to each other. But the nests are actually hidden behind each of these boxes. So each one of them represents a different nest, and then they put the cameras in any one of them, and that's what you can then see on the TV in front of you. And if you just sit here, look, you can see the bird right in front of the camera, oblivious to everyone else watching. What if he sold the rights so he can be shown on TV? Now, I promise you the bird doesn't stay there all the time, so you can't see other bits and pieces, but you can see other birds coming in and out as well, and the interactions between them. Well worth coming in here. Really hope you're enjoying our visit here to the London Wetland Centre, and if you are, do us a favour, will you give the video a thumbs up, and also if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go on, you know what you need to do. We've got so many incredible videos still to come this year and into 2024. Wow, I can't believe I actually said that. Now here, if the weather's awful, this is where you probably want to come. This is inside the Observatory, which is part of the courtyard right by the main entrance where you came in, right at the very beginning. But you've got your big glass panels around you so you can see right across. Great! But what it also shows you, not only the main lake right in front of you, and you can see all your birds from here, so don't forget, if you've got your binoculars or hired those, then you'll definitely want to use those. But also we're going to show you the view across the London skyline, just to prove we're really there. Now also, what I also noticed is during school holidays, they've got lots of activities happening downstairs, so this is quite a loud area, and I've actually silenced the sound because it really does echo around in here as well. But if it's quiet, it's amazing. Right, let's have a look across the London skyline. And then as we zoom in, you can see the Post Office Tower there. So that's London's West End. That's where Tottenham Court Road is. And then over there you've got, just behind that block of flats, the City of London, and you can also see the London Eye, and then of course you've got the Shard on the skyline as well. So once again, a great reminder of how close to central London you really are whilst looking at these amazing wetlands. So if you're thinking of coming down here, they have all sorts of events on that go each and every day, such as pond dipping, which is a really good thing. And also a couple of times a day, they feed the otters as well. So they give you the times for those, they tell you where to turn up. And it, once again, is included as part of your ticket. You can go in and watch that, film that, go and have a good look. And actually, it's a fantastic thing for the whole family. Now, when you're here, they've got different options for eating. There's sort of a kiosk where you can order stuff, coffees and other bits and pieces, but also there is a restaurant as well. Now, if you're budget conscious and you're watching the money like so many of us are at this precise moment in time, then another great thing that you can do is you can bring your own food, and there's plenty of picnic places to stop and eat as a family. So you've got so many different options if you're coming down here. Now, how about these as a final guest appearance? Parakeets. Now, you'll hear them. They've got such a distinctive sound as you go around. You might not even realise they are parakeets that are making the sound. But here they are in the courtyard, and they've made themselves well at home. But what's absolutely incredible is they'll put on a show for you without you even realising it. And here you go. You've got one going into a brick nest, which is in the building, and then you've got the others looking down at them, making all sorts of squawking noises. There you go, sticking his head out, come to see what's going on. So let me know in the comments down below, what was your favourite part of this video? Be really interesting to see. Now, if you like things like this, we also went to another wetland trust over in North East London, directly diagonally across London. So if you click on the video in the top right hand corner, I'll see you in there. That's of course when the planes are gone flying overhead and into Heathrow from here. See, real sound effects. Just go to prove we're in London. Love it. See you in the video.